while maybe it's a bit damp today, one thing that's not been dampened is my spirit, because I have been waiting so long to finally get to drive this. The Mustang Mach E.
The Mach E comes in a few ranges such as this, the all-wheel drive, offering a range of up to 335 miles from an 88 kilowatt battery. If more range is needed, then the standard rear-wheel drive model offers up to 379. Acceleration can be achieved in 6.3 seconds with the all-wheel drive compared to 6.9 in the standard model. However, if you are keen for a bit more grunt, the GT model can do a 0 to 62 in a rapid 4.4 seconds. When charging with a rapid charger, you can get up to 80% in approximately 45 minutes, with a quick 10-minute charge adding 66 miles of range.
Look at it. Isn't it just absolutely bite the back of your hand beautiful? First of all, with this metallic paint, it's an optional metallic paint called Race Red, and it's absolutely 100% worth it. Even when we've been out and about driving with a little bit of road muck that's got on the paint, still looks really good. I love these sharp and angled sporty headlights, giving out again a bit of Mustang-esque, and you cannot escape the Mustang emblem here with a pony present on the front grille. Isn't it just absolutely so emotion evoking? Of course, it's a Ford, and we get the reminder of the logo at the top of the windscreen, but we don't mind that. This grille, the black high gloss grille with the camera embedded, again, just giving that a little bit of a sharper, sportier look. And as we move around to the side, we got these 19-inch twin spoke, or sort of twin coloured alloys. I'm not quite sure what's going on, but I love it. And with the red brake calipers as well, absolutely fantastic. One thing you are drawn to is this very prominent shoulder line running all the way around to the back of the vehicle, giving it that muscular, arched look, and just again, maybe dare I say it, a bit sort of muscle car-ish. And I like little quirky things in cars. Things are something that a bit different, a bit strange perhaps, and you're drawn to it straight away with this door handle assembly. It's not really a door handle, but you just push this button, the door pops open, you've got this handy little sort of grip, if you like, to pull it out. And you're greeted with a number pad, with a valet mode, so you can enter the PIN number to get in the car. And then you're just greeted with this luxurious cabin, but more on that in a moment. I want to have a quick look at the back. And at the rear, it's all rather big. Of course, it's an SUV. We kind of expect this sort of bigger party panel shapes, but it's not too over the top. It's not too many sharp or jagged lines. And yes, we got the long spoiler, which comes part of electric cars because it's all about reducing that drag. But we got these taillights, very Mustang-esque, as we've seen on the previous Mustangs that we've had recently. We got the pony back. But what I really like is this actually lip that comes here, and this sort of bulbed rear end, if you want. It's almost like it's actually got a bump, which is really nice. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the new SUV that's come out from Aston Martin, did I say it? But absolutely really nice. But one thing I want to say is the boot size on this is incredible. Huge amounts of space. And obviously you've got the front as well, as Ford like to call it. We've got that space to put underneath the front bonnet. But what I'm interested in showing you is actually one of the greatest features in this car is this huge glass roof. Come and have a look. So once you're in the cabin, one of the things you do grab, as I just mentioned a moment ago, is this huge glass roof. While it doesn't open, it floods the entire cabin of light. And it's not one of these sort of halfway sort of things. It actually, from the front head here, right above the rear headrest, is all glass, which is just amazing. You can't help but find yourself when you sat stationary just sort of looking at the sky or whatever it is, the birds, planes, or the stars above you. It's fantastic. When you're inside the car, there's luxury everywhere. We've got lots of different touches and finishes. We've got some carbon fibre effect on the dashboard. We've got stitched leather. We've got this Bang & Olufsen soundbar running through the dash as well, which is brilliant. Huge B&O speakers in the door, which are fantastic as well, and sound amazing. The seats, all leather with a red contrast stitching. Nice red contrast stitching again on the armrest and around the centre console where we got the gear selectors as well. Absolutely fabulous. Huge big charging pad at the front there with the cup holders. There's some more space underneath there as well, in the center console. We got space here underneath this retractable area, sort of huge amount of space. You could probably get, I dare say, a couple of family share bags of chocolate in that if you want to do, as well as some small shallower door space as well, but enough sort of room to place a small bottle of water or something like that as well. But what you are going to be drawn to, and one of the things that I quite like about this, and it's not obviously the first electric car with this sort of setup, but it's the huge screen here, which gives you a nice little video animated display once you first get into the car. But it's very simple and easy to use. It's just touch screen. You press the buttons that you want. You got this little dial in the middle to adjust your volume is on there. Literally within about 3 to 4 minutes in the car, I've kind of got the grips to this straight away. Where I have been in with some other systems of recent that are just not as good. And when you go into here, it's very easy to pick up your parking sensors, your driving modes, pair up Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. Apple CarPlay in this instance is wireless as well. And it's all very simple and intuitive. Same applies to the steering wheel. Although it's kind of like a weird angle, you get used to it quite quickly. The buttons feel quite nice, they're very positive, there's a nice sort of physical push and clunk to them, which you don't get with some other manufacturers at the moment. And it just feels very, very functional and just works, which is really what you want. Visibility, really, really good. And one thing you do notice when you are driving in this car is the huge expanse of bonnet above you, which is very Mustang-esque. But one of the things I do want to pick out, and one of the things I would love to show you guys in the next part of this video, is all about how this drives, because I really do think when you look at this, it's very fun, it looks amazing, this stuff, but I think the drive of the Mustang Mach E is probably its best selling point. Let me explain a little bit more on this next bit. So one thing you will note, well, a few things actually you'll notice when you're out and about in the Mustang Mach E, that one, yes, it's electric, so it's very responsive under the throttle. It's also very quiet. One thing I have experienced in this, the Mach E, that I haven't in any other electric vehicle that we've driven recently, is that it's a bit of a neck jerker. And if you're not quite familiar with what I mean by that, is that everywhere you go, regardless of the street corner you're on, there is plenty of people having a quick look at your very fancy electric car. It's just one of those cars that just, the looks of it is very, very good. And a lot of people seem to like it. One of the things I do like about the Mach E as well is that this particular one has loads of driver aid features on it as well, which are incredibly easy to use. Some of those to mention is adaptive cruise control. So when I was traveling on the motorway earlier, it was very clever and very easily able to maintain the distance between myself and the vehicle that's in front. Pair that up with the lane keeping assistant as well, therefore not allowing me to stray outside of those lines, even better. And it's quite apt actually when we're going through some of the bends on the motorway to steer you enough to keep you within that lane. So long as you have contact at the steering wheel, it's relatively comfortable to do the rest. On top of that as well, with the cruise control and a lot of the infotainment and easy functions that we got in here, it doesn't really take you long to get comfortable, understand and be aware of everything that's around. A lot of the functions and the switches on the car feel very well weighted, and you just adapt to it really, really quickly, to be fair. While driving the Mach E, it becomes very apparent that this is a little bit of a different beast from every other electric vehicle out on the market. Because what you find with a lot of these electric vehicles, because it's all controlled with the ECUs and computers and all this intelligent software, it's very easy for the manufacturer to decide what the driving dynamic of that car is going to be. For example, if they want to dial back a lot of the power that electric motors give, they can do so. It's not like a combustion engine where the bore, the size of the cylinders, and not to get too technical, depends on how it drives. So you'll often find a lot of the manufacturers aim towards economy, getting the longest distance out of the vehicle, pair that up with oodles amounts of comfort. While we have comfort in here, we do have the opportunity to change around and play with some drive modes. So we have active, which kind of learn and adapt to how you drive your Mustang. We have whisper, which is going to be obviously the most quietest and very refined and sort of comfortable, very upmarket, luxurious if you want. And then we have untamed. And untamed, as your names probably suggest, is if this was to have horsepower, it's letting all of the horses out of the gate. But it is something about the electric cars when they have this straight line power that kind of loses a little bit of that theatre. And of course, it's an EV, so we lose some of that sound. So what the boffins of Ford have done is that they've decided to give us a little switch at the bottom of this huge big tablet called propulsion sound. And what propulsion sound does, yes, it's artificial, but I don't mind, play some evocative engine noises, if you like, from the back of the speakers. This could be very particularly difficult to hear on the camera, unfortunately, but as a driver, it can't help put a sizable smile upon your face, which I'll kindly demonstrate for you in a moment when these traffic lights change. Now, I don't know about you, but it's going to take a hell of a long time for me to get bored of that. When it comes to handling, a lot of big SUVs, certainly electric models, because the batteries add a significant amount of weight to these vehicles, they can tend to feel rather cumbersome and lazy in a lot of the bends. Well, the Mustang Mach E is not going to be an extremely track-focused vehicle. It has enough about it to actually make you feel quite exciting. So if you are chucking it through a very nice Welsh B road, for example, it's more than enough to give you a feel of engagement that you know that you're kind of giving the car a little bit of a push. You're nowhere near the level of the edge of grip, and you don't need to be. However, if the road is slightly damp or you're a little bit too excited on that right pedal, you can find that it does give you a little bit of tyre squeal. You feel you could be almost on the edge of that grip. And if you are brave enough, you can go into the settings and turn the traction control off as well. Which, of course, being slightly all over four-wheel drive, but more of a rear-wheel drive balance, I'm not going to demonstrate it because it wouldn't be safe to do so on public roads. But you shouldn't be too surprised if it gets a tad bit tail happy. Which an electric car, and this representing the future, fills me with a lot of happiness. So here we have it, the Mustang Mach E. Courageous, good looking, fun, exciting, and a car of the future. Everything you want in a package. I really have grown a huge amount of warmth to this car. I just absolutely love it. I certainly think it's one of the best electric SUVs out on the market. And if you want to experience it, you can do so at our Cumbrian or Newport branch. You can find the details in the contact section below. But of course, if you do like this video, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and that notification bell. And we'll see you soon. If you don't mind me, I'm just going to go for another quick drive around the block.